I think it's due for a wash. She is looking good. It's not obviously warmed up all the way yet, not even moved, but we're gonna slowly drive to the wash and see how clean we can get her just with the normal car wash. And then I got that blow-off valve. Makes it sound like it's got the big turbo in it. And we are here. Just this little hole-in-the-wall car wash, which I feel like this first bay here doesn't do card, only quarters. Which honestly, I might have mistaken, and there's more people out. Ooh, here's a spot. If I could sneak in there before someone else does. And there we are. Pedal commander just to make it a little more snappy. Typically on the freeway though, like right now when it shifts all the way into 8th, it's a nice driver. But, I don't know, going on some of the slower roads or whatnot, when it's a little lower gears, even just shifting now, I don't know if you can hear it or if it'll pick it up, but how much it drones on the inside of here with account of everything else that rattles in here. But, the exhaust it's a fixer-upper. It wasn't the best on the car. It still has a whole bunch of welds I would like to grind down and paint so it doesn't rust, but it's right in the mid pipe, right where a flat clamp connects both the exhaust that's cut in half. Typically in the exhaust you buy online or whatnot, you'd see it go in the other one and then you'd clamp it down, but for some reason for this one all it is like cut and then a gap and then the clamp that clamps it. So not unless if I cut a little piece, weld it on, and then put that clamp back on, then maybe it'll stay. But I thought I had it fixed because in the mornings or whatnot you would hear it, but also you could smell it on the inside of the car, which no one ever likes, and then your passenger's always complaining about it. But other than that, right now I tried to fix it with the red bike going fast. Anyways, tried to fix it with spacing the clamp so it clamps harder with some spacers, and then I used a shit ton of the red RTV, the 720 Fahrenheit gasket, which it looked like it worked for a little bit until I started smelling the exhaust again. But I know for sure everything from the turbo down pipe is good. It's just that mid pipe, and then from there's no other clamps or anything to go to see the short videos I have made of the hot licks on the car. Scoured the internet of a whole bunch of other cars, Corvettes, Mustangs, GTRs, even the newer ones. They all have the hot licks kit, which, if you don't know, it's just putting a spark plug in your exhaust and tapping into your 12-volt wire going to your coil packs. So when you have the button all wired up, you hit the button when you're driving, have your RPMs high, it cuts your ignition, keeping the car still on, obviously, but essentially it just dumps fuel, doesn't spark, dumps it into the exhaust, and then the plugs in the back ignite it. Which, even hot licks and searching stuff, specifically like how do you make it get to the point where it backfires super loud, which on the instructions they do tell you, but it's still, I feel like, a little iffy on understanding it from pay-per-view, I guess. Me, myself, there's a lot of people out there that learn more hands-on or seeing visual instead of just reading it. So for explaining on how it works is, I get I'll try to do it now, even after doing the car wash. So manual mode, put it down to, let's do second. So I'm like 5,000 RPMs right now. Press the button, push the gas in, you can kind of hear it. I let off, and then it backfires. So how to get the consistent big backfires is press the button, you hold the exhaust for a little bit, it'll let you hear it at the end of the exhaust, but you let off the gas while holding the button still, and then that excess gas that's in your pipe ignites it and then makes the bang, where if you keep holding the button down as the same time as you're I'm probably confusing myself right now, but hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully. So instead of me rambling, I'll try to show you exactly what I was talking about. So I have the car at 4,000 RPMs. I let off the gas for a minute, press the button, gas down, let off, and then it backfires. So that's all pretty much to it for doing the hot licks. I guess we could start this as, I don't know, some title of a Q&A of just kind of the thought in my head of the Audi A4s, which there's people on, YouTube making other videos of, is an A4 a good car? Is it fun? Can you mod it? Yes, you could do everything to it you want. You could tune it, through your laptop by yourself, and it's all the tuning that is provided through companies, integrated engineering, or there's another one I'm forgetting the name of. But again, getting into the whole car, let's call it club. I had a Bug-Eye WRX that I got that when I was just getting out of high school. So I graduated, fortunate events, accidentally totaled my Mazda 6, and then I was fortunate to have the buddy hold the car for me, and then I bought the Bug-Eye. The Bug-Eye was already modded out, so that kind of threw me into the aspect of where everyone says, try to get a car that's not modified so you can start from square one instead of jumping into it, having to deal with other people putting stuff in the car and then not telling you exactly what they did. And when it comes to wiring and all that, the Subaru had tons of wiring issues. Got to the point where I was maxing the turbo out, trans was making noise, and I didn't want to fix the trans. So, put the car up for sale, sold it 9-ish, I think, 8,500. Then looked for a little bit online, went and saw some other Audi A4s. There was an A4 that was already modded out, had everything on it. Looked good-ish. The guy said it was rebuilt, but when talking to insurance, they said it wasn't rebuilt, but he bought it from, I think, Copart or some auction. Fixed it up. The exhaust was shit. There was a dent in the rear quarter panel. Kind of just makes you think about it. So after me almost getting that car, luckily I didn't, because he sold it to someone else. Someone else's issue now. A little bit down the road, 45 minutes for a drive, I found this one on Facebook, which is a 2012 Audi A4. And the only thing that was done to it was an intake and then a little bit of an exhaust, which when I say that, all I mean is just resonator taken off. So I got this car as a good car, knowing that I can already slowly mod it, slowly do things to it. So like anyone else, the first thing I did was more exhaust work. Took the last resonator off, then found a good deal on Google for a CTS, I believe, catless downpipe, test pipe. Put that on, definitely awoke the car, made it a lot more droney on the inside, which is, it's okay. I don't know. You get used to it after a while, but some people don't like it, and then they want to quiet it down or put some other exhaust work into it to kill the drone, which I'd like to kill the drone. I just don't have the options right now. But getting into the Audi, modding it, obviously the more you put into it, the more you have to think of getting it tuned. It's not going to run exactly right. Putting an intake, exhaust, turbo muffler delete, etc., charge pipes. So I did all that, got it tuned, and then it got to the point where it's like, what more? You can do a upgraded turbo KO4, which is, I don't think it really peaks your boost, because right now on the stock turbo, which this one's going out, I peak at 22, but then it goes down to 20, 19. But on top of that, of my turbo going out, I can't hold boost higher RPM freeway racing or whatnot. But that is $1,400 bucks, which is, it's spendy for someone that's, I guess, my age, starting out with cars and whatnot. Which, you do what you can do. Some people peek around the corner and do other stuff that they tend to hurt the engine, messing with their wastegate to give them more boost or whatnot. Or you could just leave it and it'd be fine. Currently, maxed it out, this car so far. There's probably other little stuff I could do maintenance-wise, fixing more little oil leaks around. But in the process of hopefully trying to get a Miata. Everyone has Miatas. They're a lot harder to come by, especially for the 1990s through 97, which the 90 through 93, I believe, is the 1.6 liter, and then it goes from 94 to 97 to a 1.8 liter, which I've already worked on cars. I've done everything to this car pretty much by myself, besides getting like the rear main seal that went out fixed by the dealership. But the Miata is NA little 1.8 liter rear wheel drive. They flipped the engine because it was in a front wheel drive, so they turned the engine and then made it to a rear wheel, which everyone buys the Miata for track use or whatnot, just a daily mess around, which that's what I want. I want to buy something where I know I can, if I break it, I can easily fix it. The parts are very affordable. 2 front fenders, $100. Do something like that on this car, more than $100. So trying to get something where you can still mess around with it, and if you hurt it, you can fix it. That, or hurt the motor and do an engine swap. But with everything on the car, people ask, does it hurt your engine? Are you going to blow your engine? Right now, I haven't had any issues with it. For the hot licks, burble tune, doing the popping, obviously the more you do it, the more you're going to wear and tear stuff down. Burble and the popping, honestly, I don't care right now. I already know my turbo's going out. Smokes slightly, but then also the Audi already burns a little bit of oil, just as a daily issue for these Audi A4s. Which we'll do a little walk around now, which I want to get the front bumper repainted because it has an aftermarket grill on it, and chipping up all the rock chips and then going through car washes, it pulls that out. But for what I did, turns pretty nice though. Still a shit ton of water on the back though. And then it is sitting on 2-inch lowering springs all around. Probably see more of this car, and then later down the road, if there is a Miata that shows up, for sure that'll be on here too.